Hello everybody, welcome back. We carry on talking club rugby and of course the connections from club rugby into Western Province rugby. So as you know, of course, a lot of women rugby players coming from various clubs currently playing in the Western Province rugby women's squad, and of course, as you know, on a weekly basis we profile the players, we profile the team, and we do the best we can to give as much coverage as possible around women's rugby. Joining me on the line now is Danel Russouw. Danel's of course DHL Western Province rugby team manager. Danel, nice to have you back. How are things there with you?
Good evening. It's great, thanks. On your side?
Not too bad. It's okay. Let's focus on you guys. Let's see. We haven't now spoken for a week. It was another successful run for you. You played against the EP Queens in Goibera this past weekend. You're sitting now, I think, 8 from 8. I mean, you guys must be thrilled with the performance.
We are absolutely thrilled, JP. Really, the girls are working so hard, and I'm like stoked and excited beyond like words because we are playing with the rotating squad. What excites me is, you know, some people that follows the streaming or whatever will see that there's a lot of players that's participating, that, you know, that's names that they might not always see pop up. We had players on the bench like Cindy Boy and Zintle Mapupa, and we didn't even play them. So, you know, we're really trying to give our players some opportunity, and things are going great. I mean, we were blessed to come home again with the win. Our half-time score was 15-5, and then full-time score was 41-5. It was 7-3 versus 7 tries versus 3 tries. So yeah, and we've had some exciting things happening on the field.
I've got to ask you about the weather scenario though, because we look at the one scenario where we're in Cape Town and it's sunny and beautiful at Newlands, and then of course the following week you went off to the Boerland where you played against the Boerland side, and it was very hot. And then from there you're next, of course, back to Cape Town practicing in the rain, and then going up to Goibera. Back into bitterly cold temperatures. How's this been for you guys?
Listen, I'll be honest with you. Saturday was something that me personally, all the years that I've been involved with women's rugby, I've never experienced. The cold was bearable because Cape Town, you know, we are used to having cold, and the cold that we get here like climbs into your bones. But what was absolutely so challenging on Saturday was the wind. Like literally, if you got up from your chair blew away. I couldn't stand with any form of paper. I had to chase everything. You know, the wind was, I can't even explain it to you. I mean, if you would kick off into the wind, the ball would end up 10 meters behind you. So that was very, very challenging, you know, and that's why I say, you know, there's always like the weather conditions plays a very big role. And even with things like that and the climate changes, and like you just said, you know, playing in extremely hot weather and then having a complete change, it is challenging, you know. But the girls, rugby is a winter sport, and apparently it's a windy sport, or a sport that can be played in extremely windy conditions. So yeah, both sides actually struggled with that, you know, because we had to look for alternative ways to play. And I mean, obviously, when you were playing with the wind, it was fantastic. But we started our first half off against the wind, so we had to play a lot, you know, with ball in hand, you know, and that is sometimes it's something that's doable. But it was a bit more scrums, less kick-outs for line, you know, with penalties and things like that. But yeah, it was awesome.
The club connection stays strong. We're still seeing all the ladies are from local clubs. Every time we look at the name of a player, we know where they're from locally. How's the Gees in the team?
The Gees, the vibe is amazing, and you know, it's like in a normal season, you know, when we only play 5 games, possibly 6 games, or like we used to play, there's almost like a gist of players. There's always a gist in the team. So they get used to that. But there's a lot of changes every single week. So we're really functioning as a squad, and we're really interacting, and we're a unit, irrespective of what club you come from. And the local girls are doing extremely well. I mean, there's like a magical thing that happened this weekend, and I would love to share it with you.
Please do.
People would have seen.
I think everybody's just so hungry for information. You know, this is why it's such a blessing
Yeah.
just to chat with you, because everybody who's watching the show right now, you know, desperate to be talking rugby, desperate to be thinking about club rugby, their friends, their fans, and that. And I think this is really the fantastic for us right now is the ability to stay connected. So please go ahead, pour all the information out for us.
I think I can sit and speak to you, talk to you for hours about each individual player. But something that was very magical this weekend is we've got a player. She plays for a local club, Busy Bee. You would have seen her name several times on the team sheet as Lock. And surprisingly, she played prop for us this past weekend. I get goosebumps when I say that. And she's performed so well. I am so proud of her. She even scored a try, which makes it, you know, her debut prop game. She scores a try. It was a beautiful try. And then I go back to the fullback, Danel Russouw, the youngster that came through the under 16 and under 18 ranks, playing senior rugby this year, local girl from Kraaifontein. And she also scored 2 tries. Verushka Grain did fantastic. She's our 30-year-old veteran that's playing wing. She did very well. Shaylin Simons was back on the field. Then we've got someone like Luane Willemse. She is a lock. She stepped in. She played starting lineup. She played a full 80 minutes. I'm super proud of her. She contributed a lot to the scrum. She's also local from Tygerberg Club. You will look at someone like Yonela Pokoloka that is fantastic on lock as well. So everything is just gelling together. You will hear a name, Nokubonga, that has started. She played for the first time again last week. Old player, but you know, only returned to play now.
Yeah.
She's doing very well. Our loose trio, you know, Shemaine Kaiser was rested this past weekend. We also rested Felicia Jacobs. We had Alicia Willemse in action. She did very well. And then we've got another newbie in the team.
We're going to end up going through the whole squad, Danel. We're definitely going to
just one more. Kimberly. Kimberly is also a new player. She's also playing scrummy, and she's doing very well. So there's new names, local players that you must really keep an eye on. So I'm super stoked. That's why I said I can keep on going for days.
No, I think that's fantastic, and it's interesting to hear that when you're speaking, you're talking about new, because that means that there's a lot of depth in your squad and a lot of players coming through the ranks, and that's what we're trying to promote, as well as the growth of women's rugby. And so it looks like we're ticking those boxes, and you know, obviously that works well for this. You know, all the credit goes to you guys. Danel, this weekend, tell us about this coming weekend. You've now got 8 in a row. The Premier League continues division.
Yes, this coming weekend we are playing against the Sharks at Newlands. It's going to be an early game. It's a 10:30 kickoff. We're very blessed that it's going to be televised this weekend. Right. So yeah, the Sharks are the only team this year that we played that we weren't able to get a bonus point against. So I think they're going to come back, you know, blazing guns, because they know that you know, they withheld a bonus point from us previously. Yeah. It's going to be different, completely different playing conditions. We're going to play in a bit of rain this weekend. If we look at the weather forecast, where as we were there, we were playing extremely hot and draining weather. So this weekend, I think, is going to be something very interesting, and we're definitely looking forward to some great action on the field.
We know it's difficult times at the moment, especially with the third wave in South Africa.
Yeah.
And you know, from our side, we'll keep following the progress, and we'll catch up with you guys next week, and just say to you all, in the meantime, stay safe out there, and you've got our full support behind you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Have a blessed evening.
Here we go, folks. Danel Russouw, the DHL Western Province Rugby Women's team manager, and it's always great to catch up with Danel. And as she said, so many players coming through the ranks, and that is fantastic. So Western Province club rugby players, women's rugby players now coming from even more clubs, as we see Western Province, of course, driving the campaign to grow women and girls sport. And I will remind all of you that if you are watching the show right now, Western Province Rugby is still driving the campaign to make sure that all clubs have a women's representative at the club so that they can continue that growth strategy. So if you're watching the show right now, find out who is the representative at your club for women's rugby. And if there is no representative yet, then contact Western Province and get signed up. Sign up a representative so we can keep focusing on women's rugby and help Western Province grow women's rugby. We'll take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we carry on talking about club rugby in Western Province. Back in a sec.